Reggie, before we start, just how are you and your family doing after the loss of your brother?
It's very tough. Like normal people wake up, they get ready, they have breakfast. My family wakes up crying every morning. Our life has changed. We wake up, cry, we see the babies looking for his dad. It's different. Our life has turned upside down with my brother missing, the newborn. It's tough. It is tough.
And you guys are very close to each other, very religious.
Yes, we are religious. My brother and I, we were like best friends. When everything happened, I was out on vacation, Fiji Islands, and 24 hours before everything happened, my brother and I, we talked, and we decided that I was going to change my plane ticket and come back 3 days prior to when I was coming back. And him and I, we were very happy that we were going to spend time together. He had a little New Year's Eve get-together at his house, and we both were planning to invite families and do that. And after I changed my plane tickets to Thursday, I got the worst news of my life.
And what was going through your head when you found out the reality that your brother had been shot and killed?
A million questions: how it happened, why him? A million questions. I was 12 hours away, and I wasn't able to call people. People were not answering. It was 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I had a million questions. What happened? I was trying to talk to different people to see if I get the same information. I was hoping it's a dream. I just wake up and it didn't really happen. I talked to a couple of police officers, and they informed me that the information I got was correct.
Now, investigators say that the suspect was in this country illegally. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm going to talk about my brother. My brother and I, we migrated legally 2003. Part of the reason why we migrated to America was for my brother to become a law enforcement. In law enforcement, we flew to Los Angeles airport, and my brother looked at the law enforcement carrying guns. Like, my brother was like, "Man, that's going to be me one day." He told me, he's like, "Man, that's going to be me, just watch." So he worked towards it. He went to the police academy, drove 2 hours, joined the police academy. He wasn't good at report writing. English was of a second language. He wasn't good at report writing, so he was asked to improve on that. So he improved on that. After he got his bachelor's degree, he applied for a law enforcement agency, and he was told that he needs a citizenship now. We were green card holders. So he was not happy, he was depressed, and I'm like, you know what, just work towards it. So he waited, worked towards it, got his citizenship, applied and got the job, and he was really, really happy, We did things the right way. We followed the immigration law, and I think everyone should, I never thought my brother was cremated. I never thought that I would be picking up his remains. It broke my heart. It really broke my heart, and tears were rolling down like, this could have been preventable,
Tell me about the phone call that your sister-in-law received before your brother was laid to rest.
So my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, called me and was crying, and she said, "Hey, Ron's no longer with us." I'm like, "What do you mean no longer with us?" And she goes, "He got hurt and he did not make it." And I fainted. My parents were right there. They came, like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "You know what, let me get my phone again." So I called her back. I'm like, "Are you joking right now?" she tells me, no, I'm not. I'm like, where are you? She said, she explained to me the whole scenario, what happened. She said, I'm right next to Ron, and Ron's right next to me. And he did not make it, and I don't have details. I informed to my parents. My mom fainted. We were in a hotel. The security came, helped us out. I called back my sister-in-law, and I said, is there any law enforcement that I could talk to? And I talked to two of them, and they both told me the information you received is correct, and Ron's no longer with us. We don't have details. We cannot share details, and we will talk to you later.
But you also received another phone call, or your sister-in-law received another phone call, and it was from the president. Tell me about that.
So the president called last week, talked to my sister-in-law about, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes. According to my sister-in-law, the conversation she had went really well. It went really well. According to her, that the president's been following on my brother's case on daily basis, and he was very impressed of how my brother did things the right way. And he was fighting for the country, helping the community out. He was very impressed, and he offered to my sister-in-law, if you need any help, I'm phone call away, go ahead and call me. And I'm really sorry, and talked about the baby, that the baby is a miracle, and take care of the baby, and that was it.
You mentioned that he had called repeatedly, right?
Yeah, the day before, from what I heard, was he called, and my sister-in-law is not doing good right now. You know, she just lost her husband, so she missed the phone call. So the following day, she was able to answer and talk to the president.
How does it feel, knowing that the President of the United States took time to call your sister-in-law and your family?
President is a busy man. He has a lot going on. Got 50 states to take care of. Him calling my sister-in-law, we're happy. She was happy that the president called. He's following on Ronil Singh's case on daily basis, and the family was happy that he called, and and then watching on the news that he's trying to put a stop to all this. What happened? The family, we were happy.
Is the family bothered or upset or anything like that that this case has gone political?
We try to stay away from political. Before Ron's wife's not doing well right now. Before doing this interview, I talked to her. Is there something you'd like me to share? One of the things she said is Ronil is not coming back. We know, but anything we could do from happening again to another law enforcement or any family member, what we're going through right now, we don't want anyone else going through it right now. So anything we'd have to do to put a stop to this, we are up for it.
And you said you all were gathered last night, and somebody said, hey, the president is addressing the nation tonight. Let's check it out on our phones. Tell me about that moment and kind of your reaction when he mentioned your brother.
So yesterday, one of my friends, so we have a prayer ritual for 13 days. One of my friends said, hey, the president's live, let's watch it. I'm like, sure. So as soon as we turned on and he was talking about my brother, Ronil Singh, and I had tears rolling down, like, you know what, we are going to put a stop to it. Something's been done, and what I went through, what the baby's going through, what my sister-in-law is going through, we don't want no one going through it. And, the president talking about it, yes, it felt good that we're going to address this issue.
And how do you feel about this issue? What's your stance on border security?
I think the border security, the immigration law, needs to be tightened. I don't know how. We got qualified people dealing with that, and I'm going to leave it up to them. But I definitely think that we need to put a stop to it. We need to put a stop to it. I've had conversations with my brother in the past regarding this, like, you know what, security, the immigration law, and he talked about traffic stops. Like sometimes traffic stops, you do a traffic stops and it could not, sometimes it will go south real quick. And we've talked about illegal immigrants, and you know, it needs to be tightened. It needs to be tightened. Yeah, he has shared details with me, like, you know, there's a court hearing and they will not show up. Yeah.
And do you feel like you know, they're using your brother's case too much in the national spotlight to highlight national security and the border wall?
Honestly, I don't know. At this moment, I don't care. I know my brother really well. Him looking down, he doesn't care about spotlight or anything. I know he wants his law enforcement brothers and sisters to be safe. He wants them to go back to their family, hold their kids, play with them. You know, not what he went through, our family's going through. I know him, he doesn't want any other law enforcement going through what we went through. And if we have to fix this issue by putting a major spotlight, then be up for it.
And then from your perspective, tell us, you know, you came to this country the legal way, right?
Yes.
So tell me about that and how you feel in regards to this suspect who came illegally.
I feel like this could have been preventable. I didn't have details until last week that the suspect was illegally here and had prior DUIs. I feel like if the immigration laws, if things were different, this could have been preventable. How? I don't know. But it could have been preventable, and it just, you know, my emotions are roller coaster. I'm happy with what my brother has achieved in his life. The next minute, I have so much anger that it could have been preventable. Seeing the baby looking for his dad, you know, it could have been preventable. How
does it feel that every time our politicians talk about the border wall and they talk about national security, that your brother comes up?
You know, when they talk about it, I want it to be addressed. And the reason why is every time they talk about it, what comes to my mind is my brother's remains. I took pictures of my brother's remains and his badge after he got cremated. And I'm like, whatever we have to do, that no other family has to go through this, the younger brother holding older brother's remains, whatever we have to do, talking about Border Patrol politicians, talking about it, the border and all that, whatever we have to do, it needs to be addressed, because no other family should go through that. No other family should go through what we are going through right now.
You think the wall is the answer?
I don't know. Like I said, you know, I don't have much experience, but it needs to be stopped. If the wall is the answer, then be it. Whatever it takes to put a stop to it, we need to put a stop to it. Every law enforcement officer making a traffic stop, they should feel comfortable making that traffic stop. We need to give them all the help they need to make it a successful traffic stop, so they would go home safely.
And your thoughts real quick about how, you know, the president was talking about, when he was talking about immigration, there are people that come to this country the legal way.
Yes. So coming to this country legal way, it's not tough. We did it the right way. It takes time, but it's possible. It's possible to do it. Yes, it's tough if you have a criminal background. And it may be impossible for you to come over here if you have a felony. But I agree that you need to come to this country the legal way. Any country, you have to do it the right way. My family did it. We waited. It was time consuming, but we did it the right way.
other people out there who have you met that disagree with what you just said, and how do you react to that?
No, everyone, I had all kinds of people come to my house, and they all agreed that, you know what, we were so sorry, and, you know, something needs to be done. Yes, justice will be served, but something needs to be done to protect other people's life.
The whole, your brother's case, is this part of his legacy, do you think? And what would you want his legacy to be?
His legacy is there and always be there. Yes, law enforcement, but when I look at my brother, I look at him, he was a foundation for two families, his family and my family. He always kept the family together, always. He was the foundation. He was the link, and we have this missing link in our family. He's a legacy. People never called me by my name. They said, hey, are you Ron's brother? Because he was so popular in the community. People looked at him, he's like, hey, Ron's brother, his presence is still talked about. You know, he was just one of those guys.
And then personally, how would you remember him, your brother?
Personally...
He was your older brother?
Older brother, yes. So personally, you know, he always looked out for me. He always looked out for me, making sure that, you know, I made the best decisions in my life, and he was there as a best friend. On his days off, he used to call me. He's like, hey, let's barbecue, let's do this, let's do that. He always has jokes. He always invited people. His garage, his neighbors know what Ron is all about. He invited everyone to his house. He was, like Newman community has said, he wasn't a police officer, he was a counselor.